Hey everybody, thanks for tuning in to Otram's YouTube channel. Today we've got a 2019 Ford Mustang GT with the 5-liter that we're going to do an oil change on. So let me move the camera around and we'll get started. So the first thing I like to do whenever I'm doing an oil change is to actually check the oil that's in it to make sure we don't have an oil consumption problem or a leak. And on this, it's hidden kind of down here under the strut brace. Not super easy to get to, and not super easy to get stuck back in there. It is a super awkward angle to get the dipstick started back on this, and then it doesn't want to feed in there well. But we're a little bit lower than the low mark, so we should probably be checking the oil on this a little bit more often between changes. We're starting to see that, more and more on modern vehicles, that they're, starting to burn more oil between changes. So you just got to keep a closer eye on the oil level. But now that we know the condition of that, we can put the car up in the air and get started underneath. Okay, so we're down here underneath, and I'm actually going to move my pan back a little bit more. And I don't know who the genius was at Ford that thought plastic drain pan or plastic oil pans and plastic drain plugs were a great idea. But these spin like a partial turn and then pull out. And then they have this green O-ring on them that you want to make sure is still pliable. It's not nicked or torn. It's still the right shape. And these are pretty common to break and pretty common to need replacing. So we stock a couple of them here. I've yet to have one break on me, but we keep them as a just in case. Okay, so now that this is down to just barely a dribble, we're going to put our drain plug back in. And it only starts one way. And then it kind of winds itself in. And then you'll see there's 2 ears coming out of the drain pan. You just want to make sure that the ears from the drain plug are up against the ears for the pan. That's how you know it's locked in there. I always like to just give them a tug to make sure everything's tight. And then I just give them a little spritz, brake clean, so that when I put the new oil in, I can make sure that we don't have any leaks. So we'll let that drip dry, and then I'll move the camera up and we'll do the oil filter. Okay, and then to get access to our oil filter, it's above this rubber flap here. So we're going to take these 3 7mm headed screws out. Now, apparently we didn't need to take the 2 over here out because it just flaps. I don't know if you can see it, but that's the base of our oil filter. Man, whoever put that on there last time really put it on there. And you can kind of reach through above the steering, or in front of the steering rack. And make a mess. I guess I'm going to be taking this skid plate or little cover down anyway. But there's filter out. And now with the drain pan out of the way, I can get you a little bit better view looking at that filter mount. And we're gonna wipe off the mating surface there. Look to make sure that the old gasket didn't stick. And then we've got our new Ford oil filter. Let me see if I can get that part number. It's a FL500-S. And I've already put some fresh oil around the gasket. So we can go ahead, thread that up on there. Get that good and snug. And then I'm gonna move the camera out of the way and I'm gonna clean up the mess that I made under here. And then I'll bring you around up to the top and we'll fill this back up. So now that we're ready to fill it back up, we've got our fill plug over here. And I'm gonna use a spill-free funnel just to make this a little bit easier. And this takes 10 quarts of 520. So let me get that. I'm gonna do it in 2 5-quart batches just so it's easier to manage. So here's the first of the 5 quarts. And second 5 quarts. It's kind of crazy how much oil this thing takes. And then I'm gonna let that settle for a minute. And then I'm gonna pull the dipstick just to make sure we're close before I take my funnel off. And there we're right just a hair over the checker marks, which will probably put us just about right once we start it up and fill the oil filter. So what I'll generally do now is I'll start the vehicle, let it run for a minute or two, build oil pressure, and then I'll lift it back up, recheck everything underneath to make sure we don't have any leaks, and I'll put the one screw back in that flap, and then we'll be all set. I don't know that y'all really want to watch me do all that. So we'll call this the end of our oil change, but you do want to double check your work to make sure you don't have any leaks, and double check that once you've run it, that the oil is at the proper level. And then we'll go in and reset the oil light. I don't know how well you guys are gonna be able to see this, but down here and I've got the key turned on, we're gonna push this little gear button, and then it's gonna pop up advanced settings. We're gonna press OK. We're gonna click vehicle. We're gonna scroll down with the down button to oil life reset, press OK. And we're gonna press and hold OK. And now we've reset. So if we press that again, we can see we're at 100%. So yeah, now we're all reset on our oil life and good to go. Turn the key back off and finish up. So that was changing the oil in a 2019 Mustang GT with a 5-liter. I hope you found that interesting. If you did, please like and subscribe. And if you'd like to help support the channel, check out our membership page. And I'll catch you next time. Thanks.